Well, I wanted everybody to hear this. So Larry, if you got to go, let's focus on this. You got the kind of the same speech that everybody else did. You kind of were told it's zip it, keep it shut, don't talk about this to anybody,
Yes, that's
because
correct.
that went out to everyone.
It did, and it not only happened to us on board the ship, but when I got relieved at Malta and sent back to Norfolk, Virginia, I had a lieutenant commander there come in and basically dress me down again and say, "You're never to talk about this to anyone. Um, it was an accident. Just, forget it
Yeah.
ever happened." And one thing about being a, cryptologic or communications technician is that, you know, I was always dealing with classified information. So if someone told you to keep a secret, you kept a secret. And that's basically what this was. But I mean, for me, it was something that I suppressed for over 50 years because I didn't know whether or not, I was going to be in danger of being threatened for imprisonment or fines or both. And
But you guys have launched an organization
yes,
because of all of this to try and get other people to come out and tell your story, to put pressure on Congress, to put pressure on the DoD, on the Department of the Navy, on politicians and other elected servants and public servants of other types to come out and start being transparent and telling the truth on this. And so you guys have started an organization, and the very organizations that should be on your side in this have also started to ice you out.
Ice me.
that's true.
I'll tell you how we
The
really got iced out was by. I'm sorry, Larry, but this fires me up too.
I'm
The
I'm surprised to hear that, Phil. I'm
yeah, the American Legion, our American Legion, several years back, wouldn't allow us to have a booth at their convention.
our
Uh,
American Legion, ladies and
our
gentlemen.
Right, our American Legion. Ernie Gallo and Glenn Oliphant were there to represent the USS Liberty Veterans Association. They had
You
paid
guys
the
had
money.
paid for it ahead of time.
We paid for it ahead of time. They said they didn't get the check. Sure they didn't. Okay, and then they offered to pay for it right then. And there was a confrontation from one of the higher ups, one of the, let's say, politically correct person. And so Glenn took his American Legion card and just went like that. And a part of it touched this woman on her breast area, and it stayed there. She called the cops. They arrested Glenn for assault and threw his ass in jail, and told us, the group USS Liberty Veterans Association, are banned from the American Legion for life. They just banned a band of brothers, some of the greatest American heroes in this century, or probably any century, from being part of an organization we built.
Right.
Do they maintain that still today?
Yes, sir, they do.
yes,
Larry is tried and tried and tried. He's our current president right now, and he has tried everything he can do.
We could tell that Larry is the current president because he lets his other guys do all the fired up speaking.
No, I was president and chairman 3 times,
yeah,
so I've been there.
Oh,
Done
all
that.
right. I was like, I just had to pick on because to be honest with you, Phil, you and I are a lot alike because Skipper just lets. I'm the straight guy. Skipper's the funny guy, and then I go on the rants. So
Well, it's not. It's a controlled a rant of facts. Now,
absolutely.
we're not a cabal here trying to tear down the world, but when you do the crime, you have to pay the time. We didn't murder anybody. They did all the murdering. Israel did, and they get by with it, and they're protected. They can't.
Oh, they get rewarded for it.
Well, of course, billions and billions of dollars, and we can't allow that to happen. Our lives matter. Your lives matter. They could do this to you. Well, hey, you were in the military. You know exactly what the hell they can do to you. And
Well, not nothing anymore, but they well, I should be careful.
yeah, they might call you back.
No, they don't want me. Trust me. So Larry, actually, Skipper, you look like you're gonna ask something, but I know Larry's got to go. He's got to go help with. I don't know why he's got to help, because his opinion is just going to be whatever you say, honey.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Larry, as president of the Liberty, say the website, but say the actual name of the association too, so that people can.
All right. The name of the association is the USS Liberty Veterans Association. The website is www.usslibertyveterans.org. If you go to that website, you'll see copies of all of our Liberty newsletters. You'll see all the facts. We've got links to several different publications that talk about, like Admiral Moore's commission's report, and some of the other, pertinent data that's relative to the, to the accident, as they call it. And there's individual, let's see, links to several other documents that people who want to do some research can do that right through our website.
I might add to that website. It's probably one of the best around, but I'll tell you why. You remember mentioning Ward Boston, the captain, JAG officer.
Yep.
In later years, he recanted it was a mistaken identity. He said both him and Kidd knew it was a deliberate attack, a murderous attack, but they were ordered by LBJ and, guess who? John McCain's daddy. He was the commander of United States Forces Europe, and he signed my award, and I never did like that too much, but I'm not going to spit on it. I mean, but he was a main part of the cover-up, and he said it was a pre-planned attack, and he was a Navy guy, and he did what his government told him to do, but he couldn't take it anymore because the book come out by A.J. Crystal, bankruptcy judge, a Jewish judge, that said the whole thing was a mistake. I went to the State Department to confront him and other people, Michael Oren, at a symposium in the State Department. They let those people talk, but they wouldn't let me talk. They said I'd be able to, along with one other survivor, Joe Lentini was there, and all you got to say was I'm not a friend of Judge Crystal, and they cut me off at the neck, at the throat. In our own State Department, they wouldn't give me an opportunity to tell the truth. The only person on that panel that was there to help us was James Bamford. He used to be an ABC producer, and he's also a scholar you can't believe. He's a good friend of ours. So, yeah, you're talking about a cover-up. And this is where that testimony was read right in the State Department of Ward Boston's recanting everything. And at that time, they shut her down. That was it. They didn't want to hear any more of that.
Your guys' captain received a pretty notable medal for his actions during the attack and subsequent to the attack. Tell us a little bit about that and how it was presented to him, as opposed to every other one of the other recipients in the history of the medal.
Please, Larry.
All right. Yeah, he Skipper received the Congressional Medal of Honor for keeping the ship afloat and saving, 260 of the 294 on board. Even though 70% of the crew was wounded, the skipper kept his station on the bridge until we got help the following day. But his medal was not presented at the White House by the president, which is normal procedure and protocol for recipients of the Congressional Medal of
Medal
Honor.
of Honor. It's
He,
the highest medal you can receive
It is.
as a military member, and I don't use the word like hero very often, but you don't get that lightly.
No,
And to be treated, where did they give it to him?
they gave it to him in the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. It's presented by an admiral, but it wasn't for publicity. There wasn't media coverage for that. There wasn't. He wasn't allowed to invite the rest of the crew to come to his, ceremony. He had a select number of people that he could invite, and I mean, it was really a slap in the face for him to receive the medal in that fashion. And I mean, as far as I know, he's the only person to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor from a source other than the president outside the
I've
White
never
House.
heard of a
I've
story
never
like
heard of
that.
any other. Yeah.
And it's should have been the most momentous point of his military career, is to not only did how he performed in before his actions, before his demand on you guys to not lollygag, as you said, Phil, and his expectations for training, to you fight the way you train. All of that stuff is beyond denial, is why so many people survived and why that ship stayed afloat and why you guys got to a safe harbor, is because of his standards, which speaks volumes of him. But to then turn around and award him a medal like that, but to treat him in such an offhanded way, says so much about really ultimately what is the military industrial complex and the United States corporate warfare, because as we've corporatized warfare in the US, and it's going back that far and maybe further, and to just so offhandedly dismiss a person like that, not only does it besmirch his character, but it really kind of besmirches the entire character of that entire ship. Is to say, well, you kind of deserve this, but we're not going to make a big deal out of it because it's more important for us to maintain these relationships. What has Israel ever acknowledged to you guys? And what did they, I mean, you hear so much about reparations today, about reparations for people who weren't alive, by enforcing reparations from people who weren't alive to give to people who weren't alive at the time. You guys actually suffered through a war crime, and there have been these minuscule, almost slap on, spit in the face kind of offers by Israel. And Larry, if you got to get going, we can finish up with Phil. If you got
Okay, yeah, I'd appreciate it. I certainly appreciate you both having us on today, and
as this comes up, just so you know, we'll make sure that you guys get the links to share out.
all right, excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
See you later, Larry.
All right, take care, Phil.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Could I add to Larry's story about the
Yeah.
Navy Yard? We were just there last month. We had our 55th reunion in D.C. And in the naval yard there, they have a very small part. It's a picture, just a picture of the ship, and a few words about it. There's no picture of the captain there getting his Medal of Honor or nothing else. And this is a huge, beautiful naval museum from all different periods of our fighting men in the Navy and the Marine Corps. And we talked to an Admiral Cox there. He was the curator. He was a two-star admiral, retired. At the grave site, we were supposed to have a flag admiral there. I may have already said this. We were supposed to have a flag admiral there from the Navy to honor the 6 men in the mass grave. And at the last minute, they canceled us. So what's new?
Still, nothing's
Still.
changed.
They canceled us, and so this retired lieutenant, this retired admiral, comes to the ceremony and said sorry, and he knows this story very well, and he was hurt by it. But they've done this to us forever, ever since we've been going to DC or wherever. We're just nothing. We were invited to the Rose Garden. Did I already say that?
No.
Okay, we were invited to the Rose Garden when George H. Bush was the president. We were supposed to have a meeting with him. We were families. My wife was there. Many families. The captain in his full dress white uniform with his Medal of Honor on it. All of us wearing our ribbons and medals, Purple Hearts, everything. And he decided he didn't want to see us. He was too busy. So he sent out Brent Scowcroft and Sanudu and said, "Oh, sorry, the president's he's just busy, you know. But would you like to take a tour?" And I mean, come on, we're all out there. We were promised an audience with the president of the United States. They thumbed their nose at us again and said, "Do you want to tour the White House?" I thought, oh my God, what the Capitol? Excuse me.
Has there been any discussions within your organization of establishing a USS Liberty museum or memorial anywhere?
We have a museum in Grafton, Wisconsin. It's the USS Liberty Memorial Library, where two industrious rich men, the Robe brothers, which were good friends of mine, read an article I did in the Spotlight magazine, Spotlight paper, the old Spotlight, now it's the American Free Press. And they were going to call it the Grove Library, and they said, no, we're going to call it the USS Liberty Memorial Library if the crew will accept that. Now, of course, we would accept it. But the whole Jewish Milwaukee area were against us getting that library because it was anti-Semitic. Now, we're anti-Semitic.
Wait, they're claiming it was anti-Semitic because you were just telling the truth about that situation.
Yes, sir. And they didn't like the name USS Memorial Library because they want the Liberty to just go away. But they're just waiting for us all to die out. But what they don't know is we got family members and people, notables are going to take
no, we're not going to let this story die.
I hope you guys don't. Hey, listen, it takes great people like you, good Americans that care about our country. And when we take the oath, we mean it. We stand by it. We stand by our country, but we don't stand by our lying politicians. We're going to call them out, like I said at the beginning of the show. We're going to call them out as they are. They're liars and cover-up artists.
And make no mistake, it's not just the Democrats.
No, it's the Republicans. It's all of them.
People are that consider themselves pro-military, pro-veteran, or even conservative need to pull their heads out of the sand. And I'll say sand because it's more polite than what I'm thinking most of the time.
Well, Crenshaw, look at him. Eye patch guy. He won't have anything to do with it. He said it was a mistaken identity. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a Crenshaw guy. So
I'm not either.
I'm going to get emotional, and I don't like doing that anymore. I'm too old for that. You just said something earlier, and you just said it again, that you took that oath and it means something to you. And Skipper knows my story pretty well. He knows what I've given up over the last 2 years for having started this platform. And so when you guys tell me about people coming after you while you were in the military, I went from the military to completely civilian lifestyle to serving in law enforcement for the last almost 13 years. And when I launched this channel, I came under immediate assault for my content and for standing up for the oath to the Constitution that all of us have taken. And the one thing, Phil, that you said that it's been a constant refrain for me is when I took that oath, when I enlisted, when I took that oath, when I decided to enter into the law enforcement world, I always go back to that very first time I took that oath and why that has always been so important to me. And that's exactly why your guys' story is so important to me. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing people who are willing, who take oftentimes almost the exact same oath that we do, that we have, and that we did, willing to abandon that to either remain popular or stay in power or to possess for themselves something that resembles in their eyes some sort of, of legitimacy. When to me, it's people like you and Larry and all the others in your association who have been adamant about maintaining your oath for your entire lives, even after you got out of a military career, to continue to tell the truth and stand for the Constitution, that are still being abused. And the thing that goes back to the conversation that you guys had, that I listened to you on Jocko's program, was the thing that stood out to me was, to this day, there are still some of you that are like, we're pretty sure if they could, they'd take us out.
Sure. Absolutely, they would take you out. And I'll tell you, I think the only thing the reason they haven't taken this out is because they'd have to take us all out, and it's not an individual type deal. But
People hear that and they hear conspiracy theory, but that's a legitimate concern. Your friends and your compatriots, your brothers in arms, that's a legitimate concern for you guys because of what you know.
absolutely, we know more than they think we know, and we've got a lot of years and a lot of documents and a lot of eyewitness testimony. That's like being on broadcasts like this from people that really give a shit, that love this country. And I don't know our country anymore. I don't know. I'm sure you guys don't either. I just don't know our country. Our borders are open. Our military is being decimated. The morale's low.
Well, they're forcing decent people out for being decent people.
For being decent because they didn't want to get the jab. So what? They're taking 60,000 reservists in the army and cutting their pay because they didn't get the jab. Give me a break. And now we're selling oil to China. What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing to our country, but we can stop it. We can help stop it with the truth about the USS Liberty, and get these Congress people to abide by their oath, not by their pocketbook, or by who they pat on the back. Because when they get into Congress, they become different people. They become part of the cabal, part of the group.
Well, and the ones that don't get marginalized.
Well, yeah. Paul.
Look how they treated Ron Paul. I mean,
well, absolutely. Look how they treated Adlai Stevenson for helping us out. Pete McCluskey, Paul Finley, and many others in the military and out. Admiral Moore at the Army Navy Club. I presented him when I was president. The first USS Liberty annual award. It was a great big beautiful brass plaque thanking him, and we had flag officers, we had generals there, it was just full of a room full of people that believe in this, and they believed in us. And when I presented that to Admiral Moore, he says, Phil, this is the best award I've ever gotten in my life, including these stars I had. Well, he was retired then. Those four stars mean nothing to me, but this award does.
It's telling that 55 plus years removed from the incident, no one's still. I mean, and when I say no one, I don't mean you guys or platforms like mine and Skipper's and mine. When I mean telling that no one's talking about it is most of the time when you get that far removed from an incident, whether it's proven to be intentional or not, somebody in the public sector is willing to talk. And for the most part, nobody wants to touch this because it goes back to what you were saying. If we could just tell the truth about the Liberty incident, and I think it to me, it says so much that it was the USS Liberty that they attacked. And the liberty of the United States has been under attack for over 50 years.
Yes, sir. It's
Over
been under
50
attack.
years.
Yes.
And it's the liberty was a symbolic target for their agenda. And it continues to remain that target. If they could destroy that story, then liberty is ultimately can be destroyed because there's a truth that needs to be told in this story, and it needs to be heard far and wide, which is why I wanted to have you guys on my platform and why Skipper and I wanted to have you on Vet Nation. And part of the thing that we do with Vet Nation, and Skipper, if you think I'm speaking out of turn, tell me, is we kind of focus too on the Veterans Affairs aspect, because as we all know, the Veterans Affairs the Department of Veterans Affairs is bad enough with non-hot button issues.
Hashtag the VA sucks.
Yeah.
The VA is bad enough when it's just simple things.
Yeah.
Just trying to get somebody veterans disability is hard enough. How has the VA treated Liberty people?
Well, in my case, it was tooth and nail. I went to the VA early on. I was married to my ex-wife, and I went to a facility in North Carolina, and I told them my story, and they basically told me to get the hell out of there. I didn't qualify for anything. And so I did. And then years later, I got involved with another VA, and they were a little bit more susceptible to my story and the way I felt. And they took me in, and I got treated. I get my meds there. I'm 100% total and permanent disabled. I guess that's because I'm nuttier than a fruitcake. But
you're in good company. Skipper's here.
It was a hard fight, believe me. It was an extremely rough battle when it should have been made easy. But when I got kicked out of that VA, and they literally told me, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass," I was crushed again. You know, I couldn't believe that the VA would do that to a veteran, but they did it to me. But since that has been rectified.
How do you want people who are watching this? How do you think they can best support you guys in this fight?
That's a very easy question to answer. Support people like you, where they learn about it. Go to our website and go to our new show on Liberty Broadcasting. And our setup is this, fellas. We're going to have survivors telling their story to the world every week. We're going to have notables. And most importantly, we're going to have wives, family members, how it affected their lives, and what they want done by it. Because we've had a lot of shipmates pass on, and we're dedicated, just as dedicated as they could be, as dedicated as all of us are, and their voices mean something too. Just because they died, they passed on, or were murdered initially, they can't speak, but we can speak for them. And God bless you for having a show like this. I'm thrilled to be on here, and I'm very
Well,
honored.
thanks for
I
saying
appreciate
that.
it.
Normally, this long into a conversation, and I'm getting, I really had better things to do with my
Yes, I understand.
day. No,
But
I appreciate you saying that.
could I give you a listen line and a call in line for this show, please?
For your guys' show today, or
Yes, sir.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The listen line
Is
is
this every Saturday, by the way?
yes, sir, at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
Okay.
The listen line is 631 359 9366. The call in line is 208 216 9366. And all these shows will be archived if you want to go to Liberty Broadcasting
And
and
how
listen.
long has that been going on?
This will be our initially our first show.
Oh, awesome, phenomenal.
We had kind of a backup show last week that I wasn't happy with, so we had to make some different
Well,
arrangements.
the pilot's always a train wreck or the best thing that ever happened.
Absolutely, but this one was the best thing that ever happened into a train wreck.
No, so it started out like a military operation,
There you go, bingo.
especially when there's Marines involved.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you know what, I'll tell you, the Marines that came aboard our ship, there were three of them.
Oh boy, now Skipper's going to get a big head because you're going to say something good about Marines.
Yeah, well, I am. These guys, well, unfortunately, two of them were the heroes that stayed down there at their duty station. They'd only been on that ship 4 days and were dead. 4 days, and they lost their lives. One Marine survived
In a peacetime situation for you
in a
guys.
peacetime situation. And hey, guys, I got to tell you the truth. We weren't afraid of anybody. A flagged American ship in international waters. Who would dare attack America except America itself? And they did it with the help of Israel being the executioners. And that's what happened.
And it's honestly, if you're paying enough attention, it's not the first time that Israel's been involved in an attack on the U.S.
Oh no, well, not the Brits either. What about the King David Hotel?
Yep.
False flag. Well, they got caught.
Well, we just got taken down.
Maybe I better shut up.
No, you know what? I think we'd have you. After I go through and do my, because what I'm gonna do, Phil, is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna break these down into
Little segments.
and put them up on my channel, and then Skipper will go through and he'll download them and put them up under the flag of Veteran Nation, and those will go out on numerous platforms. But after we've gotten these rolling out, I think it would be really great sometime on a Tuesday evening to have you and anybody else that we could round up from your crew.
Oh, absolutely.
To have you guys come on Veteran Nation live sometime after we start to air these.
Well,
and I do all of this on my own, on my end. So I'm my own producer, editor, showrunner, and everything. So the first episode will probably, take a couple of days for me to crank out. So,
hey, the word's going to get out, but I want to ask you guys: would you be willing to come on our show and
Absolutely,
and tell them your perspectives and your military and what you'd like to do? Both of you. We only take one person at a time because it's a hour show with commercials, and you know how fast that goes. But like today, we got Mickey LeMay. He's going to tell his story. We'll have some call-ins and stuff, but we can get 2 hours if we wanted, if it warrants it. But I've been told already by the owner that we need more than an hour, and I think we do. But if you guys get a chance today, listen or call in or whatever, it'd be my great honor to have you. And you have my email address.
TC? Looks like he froze up there.
I'll give you.
Well, what I can do, because I believe TC has it. So if you make sure that he's got it, I'll be able to get it then.
Okay, fine.
I just don't want to broadcast it on the air.
Yeah, I got it.
Unless if you have a generic one, because I have a generic one. It's veteranation@protonmail. That's my generic one. Anyone who wants to get in touch with me from the show can reach out that way.
Oh, I don't. Did you
There
guys
we go.
able to keep talking?
Yes, we were.
Okay, good. Because I don't know what happened.
I
about,
do.
You're talking about me?
Yeah.
Phil, don't say it. They're trying to take me out.
Listen. Things happen. I'm telling you, it's great. I had a radio show on Republic Broadcasting for years, and there was a lot of strange things that happened. So, but no, I understand it, guys. I get it.
So did Skipper commit me to something that I'm
Yes.
be aware of?
Yeah, you got committed to coming on our radio show. We can only take one at a time, but I'd be honored to have you guys on there. I'm the host of it, along with Ron Kukol.
I didn't want him to publish his email unless if this is going to be edited out.
Yeah, can you edit this out?
Yeah, when we get to that part, yeah, I've got plenty of time to be able to do that. So this will be at the end, and so if there's just bits and pieces of this that we need to just disconnect from the rest of the video, that's fine.
You don't have my email. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we can. Did you put it out already?
No, I'll give it to you now. Just make sure you. I don't care.
No, we can edit it out too. That's fine.
Okay,
Skipper, you want to make sure you write it down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's Phil. Dot USS Liberty Justice 67 at tds.net.
I have Phil.USS Liberty
Skipper,
Justice
did you get that?
67 at tds.net.
That's perfect. And my phone number is 970-201-7612. That's my cell number.
Okay.
Skipper's already asked you, what can people do? And it's, go to the website, support you guys. There's a place to do donations, things like that. It's telling the story. It's sharing the story. Are you guys planning any meetups regionally or nationally here coming up that other veterans would be able to attend or take part in, or do you limit it strictly to Liberty survivors?
No, we don't limit it to Liberty survivors. We limit it. There's no limits as long as you can make it through the metal detector. But no, that was just a joke. But
I might have a problem because I go strapped everywhere I go. So
metal plate in the head.
Yeah, I'm strapped everywhere I go too. Believe me, this day and age, you better be.
Amen.
But no, it's just this is a labor of love for us, and there's no give up in us. I mean, when somebody puts a gun to your head and pulls the trigger and tries to murder you, and somehow you survive, are you just going to say forget it? I'm not. Neither is the rest of the crew.
It changes your perspective. All of a sudden, now you're like, wow, I've survived the worst that they could do. I'm really going to fight back now.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
tell you, because while you guys are going, I've got my notes so that I can ask good questions. And a couple things that I did find out was your skipper, Captain McGonigal. He his last duty was as the CO at the Naval ROTC in Oklahoma, and then he retired and actually moved out here close to me. Uh, there is no doubt of his status as a hero. I don't know if you guys have ever approached Oklahoma to try to get a building, the NROTC building named after him, or if you've ever approached, because Palm Springs is a very pro military community, and the fact that they had a Medal of Honor recipient, and there's nothing that I'm aware of with his name on it down there, that would be a very easy thing. I think that we could get some people behind down
Oh,
in
and,
that area.
imagine taking this to, because you almost always have to have somebody who's, an elected politician to be behind something like that. Imagine taking that proposal to an elected politician, especially somebody who claims to be pro-military, pro-veteran, and then having them say, "Oh no, I can't have anything to do with that."
Congressman Ruiz, you know me, TC. I'm a big Republican. Congressman Ruiz is a Democrat down there, but I've worked with his office several times before. He's very pro-military, and I could probably get them on the phone here.
Why don't you guys make sure that you get that worked out? Let's get something done for that skipper.
If
And
that would happen, we would get the crew down there to be there at the ceremony.
I'm thinking easy thing is to get get him a star on the Palm Springs Walk of Fame. That would be an easy thing to do. Harder would be getting something, because we have Eisenhower Medical Center, which is named after Dwight D. Eisenhower. We also have the George S. Patton Museum down there. So there's other.
They don't like Eisenhower either. He warned everybody about everything that was going to happen.
Yes, he did in his final address. Beware of the military, industrial military complex.
So there's a lot of stuff down there that's very military tide related.
Let's make that happen, Skipper.
Okay.
Let's get somebody on Veteran Nation to talk about this, and let's make that happen. Okay. Phil, do you have any parting thoughts for the people that you served with? How many are left?
That's a good question. I would say less than 100, maybe not that many, but there's only 15, 20 of us that are active. The rest of them are too old, or they're still afraid. A lot of them still haven't talked. Funny story. In fact, I had a Purple Heart thing done down here at our local park, and it's a very small town. There was a guy that come in here, Larry Soley. He was aboard the Liberty and hadn't said anything about it for 55 years. And I met him because the girl down there, Kathy, I know her, and he said, I was aboard. Have you ever heard the 6-Day War? And then anyway, it got into that. She said, there's a survivor right here. But it was a very good meeting. But he's going to come on our show and tell his story, why he hadn't been on for 55 years. And it's very compelling. He was a communications technician, a spy. But, everybody aboard that ship was considered a spy because it was a spy ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know all the intricacies of what they were doing, but I knew what they're doing. I mean, we weren't stupid, and I made a few friends with guys, and they'd tell me stuff, not really detailed stuff, but I knew what was going on. But if you ever need me again, and I can help in any other way, and let's take back America starting 55 years ago, will do a hell of a lot for us in the future. The truth will set you free, boys, and you know that.
If we can unravel the story behind the Liberty.
Oh boy. Oh man.
It unravels 50 some years or more.
It's stuff that's still going on now.
Exactly.
I'm looking to see what it will take for me to be able to speak at the Palm Springs City Council right now.
Good man.
So, yeah, I'll happily try to get something along those lines, because I think more that people hear the story.
Okay, well, I got to get ready for that other show. I got to prep for it.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, God bless you guys. It's been a great honor for me, and thank you
No,
both for serving
no,
your country.
it's been an honor for us, sir.
Well, I appreciate that very much. But we're all in this together. You know, the best part of it is the whole thing is we love our country, and we love our families. We wanted to grow up in a wonderful country. So let's just fight on. I'm 75 now. How old are you guys?
Not that
43.
old.
Okay. See, hey, cool, man. See, you got a lot of years.
I got. You can't tell, but I'm actually older than Skipper. I just age better.
There you go. I thought I used to age better too. But I'm still healthy, and I'm I got
might be crazy, but you're healthy.
Crazy and healthy. That's a good combination.
Well, thank you very much, Phil.
Yes, sir.
And,
God bless you guys, and let's keep in touch. And again,
Absolutely.
it was my great honor. Thank you very much.
It was our honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are going for liftoff in T-minus 30. Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Secondary guidance systems engaged. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark. All systems are a go. All systems are a go. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at